Alright guys, we are all back because we're checking out Hypercharge Unboxed, which is something we've been following for quite a while. Dude, guys, this goes back to like the old action figure days, and now we get them with guns that are customizable, our characters are customizable, our characters are actually in the package. This is super cool to think has finally kind of come to light. I can't believe it's been this long and nobody's actually done this until Digital Cybercherries decided, hey, you know what's a cool idea? This. And which kind of leads to my first score of myself with a 7.5. We are all talking off camera where we're at. I'm there with the 7.5. We're going to bounce it around. We're going to get scores out real fast. Steve, let's kick it to you. What are you scoring this one?
I'm loving this game. I'm giving this an 8.5.
Nice, nice. Cory, you?
You know what, Steve? I'm just a bit lower than you. I'm going 8 out of 10.
All right. And then last but not least, Scott, where are you scoring this one?
I have to agree with Cory there. I'm right there at an 8, and I really want to watch Small Soldiers now.
That's basically it, right? Like, we're these little action figures running around. I didn't focus too much on the campaign. I left that to you guys. I jumped in, did the tutorial. I'm like, cool, we got tower defense stuff here. I like tower defense stuff mixed up with other opportunities to shoot people. I like that too. I jumped straight into the multiplayer. It was a little tricky to get into just because it is early access. We're early to the game before everybody else on the full release. Either way, though, I had a ton of fun. I played deathmatch, and it was just chaos, and I was reliving my childhood of holding my action figures, but I was actually the one shooting in a game, and you can change up different cameras. The control scheme, though, gents, the control scheme is a little wonky on. Like, I'm hitting LB to jump. I'm like, this doesn't feel right, so I'm gonna go in and see if I can mess with the controls at the end of the day. But overall, that's my high-level impression. It's been a ton of fun. It's just like you said, right? Brings you back to those childhood days. Steve, what about you? Speaking of childhood.
Oh, I actually played more of the campaign, and
Right.
I love the way they've done like the comic book style. And the story's not too deep. You got Major Evil, and you're up against Sgt Max Ammo, and you're a new toy soldier, new toy figurine, should I say?
Yeah.
And you just got basically protect your core, which is basically a battery, and build your defenses up. And I have to say, visually, out of the different maps, I love the detail they put into this. Whether it's a room in the house, or if it's in the backyard, or if it's in a shop. I do understand what you're saying about the right bumper for jumping and the left bumper for running or speed running.
Weird.
But I thought the game mechanic itself was awesome. I thought it was really responsive. I just had a little bit of lagging issues on the airplanes, because you get little flying model airplanes going around shooting at you as well, and you have to pick at them. But apart from that, this is a really fun game, and I think this will appeal to everyone at all ages as well.
Absolutely. Cory, where are you at?
You know what? Honestly, we talked about this. Social media kind of pumped this game up a little bit. There wasn't a ton of coverage, but it's something we all had our eyes on. And I mean, we're excited to jump into a game where we get to play as an action figure. It's a shooter / tower defense game that you can play online. You can play couch co-op. There's so many options with this game, and it's all for $40.
Yeah.
I mean, I think it's a little cheaper on Steam, but I think the console release is going to be somewhere between the $35-$40 range, which I think you're getting a ton of game here. That's why my score of 8 is all the way up there, because A, you're having a ton of fun playing this game. You can jump in with your friends and have a great time. Like you said, Drew, there's a lot of customization here, and for the small dev team that made this game, it was worth waiting this long for the release. I think we're getting a product that truly has a lot of thought put into it, something that, we're noticing all these little caveats of this game, all this extra stuff that maybe you didn't know that was even going to be involved. I thought we were going to get maybe a light story and mostly multiplayer. This game seemed like it was going to be mostly online, and that's not really the case here. You can do a little bit of everything here, and that's what makes it, for me at least, why I wanted to score it so high. The variety there, and it was just surprising me. I wasn't expecting to get so much for, the $40 price tag.
No, for sure. Scott, what are your thoughts?
I'm really met with basically everything I wanted out of the game. Seeing it come to fruition over time has just grown the hype, and it just kept building and building and building. And I mentioned Small Soldiers because this game just reminds me of things that came out when I was little. The tan and the green army men, the parachute troopers, the airplanes flying around. It was all these things that I didn't realize I was going to be flooded with memories of, and it was a lot of fun. And then even when you've run through some of the levels and you didn't do so well, there's a lot of reason to replay because there's a lot of challenges that it gives you. A bit of a checklist. Kind of like Tony Hawk that way, where you're trying to find the sale stickers and shoot them all, or you're trying to find the stickers hidden on the shelves. And that was fun because it was just put yourself in those little tiny boots and run around a garage and see how long it takes you to cross the car. You know, there's a lot of really fun things being small turned into such an action game. And then tower defense on top of that. It's been a long time since I've had a really interesting tower defense kind of game. And it just fits beautifully. Being a whole world of toys and then being able to jump online and play that same thing with your friends is really great. The only thing that I wish I had seen more of was a story. But again, that's likely my nostalgia pulling back to older IPs from 20 years ago.
No, that's fair. For me, it was all about the multiplayer, which is something I don't normally focus on. I'm much more of the campaign.
Not your thing.
No, right? I know. I'm shocked
that's
too.
like you're a campaign guy.
I'm very much a campaign guy, but for me, I was like, yo, I want to jump into the multiplayer. They had Capture the Battery, which is like Capture the Flag, and then Team Deathmatch, and then Deathmatch and stuff, and it was just chaos the entire time. But the rounds are so fast that the minute it was over, it just booted right back up, and you're back in again for another game. I'm like, man, it just worked. I think that's the highlight too, right? Small studio. We've seen so many games come out and they just crash. They don't work. They fumble their footsteps as they try to lead to launch. Not the case here. This just worked. And then a highlight for me is one of my favorite things to do of all time. I can customize my lizard creature. I want the lizard. I don't know if you guys picked. I want the lizard guy. I'm like, yo, this guy.
Cool.
I had one of these guys back in the day. Something similar.
No way.
Yeah. I'm like, I love this stuff. Like, it's just, it had that old school charm. And I loved every minute.
And you can even change the packaging your toy comes
Yeah.
in. You could go for a neon and change the plastic of the guns and things like that. I thought it was so cool.
The casual aspect of the game was what really caught me. We've been talking about how, hardcore shooters are nowadays. Call of Duty, Apex, Fortnite is insane right now if anybody's been looking at that lately. It's just, it's hard. They're not nearly as approachable as they used to be. So now we're getting a game where it's fresh for everybody. Yes, the controls are a little wonky, especially the default. I did go into the menus and was able to switch a few things up that made it a little more native to me. Yeah, and because I was like, ooh, this is too weird, and it's going to mess me up playing other games. Let's try to get a little bit closer. So you're able to actually get in there and mess with, what works for you, so that was nice. But like I said, it's just a casual, fun game. Yes, I'm sure it's going to be competitive at times, and we'll kind of see as the development of this game goes on, and if there's updates and things, what we're going to see. But honestly, it's just, I like how approachable it is, and there's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to check this game out. So for me, it's just, this one's a hit.
Absolutely. The 4-player split screen. I'm like, yo, no game does this at all anymore. I'm like, it's got 4-player split screen. Let's go. So like, we all need to hook up at my house, right? And now, like you mentioned off screen, Cory, right? Our TVs now are so big, it's like playing on a 32-inch now compared to back in the old days, right? Yeah. Man, GoldenEye, remember GoldenEye back in the day? That screen you were playing on so small, then you went even smaller. But that sensation of having everybody in-house going up against each other. Hey, no screen cheating either, right? I'm so down for this. This is such a cool game. People shouldn't miss it at all.